Hi, my name is Hsin-Ning Chou, and this is my product idea for the Masters in Global Challenges for Sustainability. My topic is reframing wind turbines in Taiwan. I come from Taiwan, a country with a world famous and very strong semiconductor industry. I work as an international sales representative in the semiconductor field, so I have a deep understanding of the current situation both in Taiwan and in the industry itself. Semiconductor manufacturing requires huge amounts of water and electricity. So whether Taiwan can sustainably support these fast-growing supply chain on our island depends heavily on our energy system. Right now, Taiwan's energy mix still relies mostly on fossil fuels, such as coal and natural gas. This not only leads to serious air pollution, but also creates risks because these fuels are imported and limited. By contrast, renewable energy sources like wind and solar together make up only about 11.7% of our total electricity generation, which is far from enough if we truly want a sustainable society that can keep supporting the semiconductor industry in the long term. To address this challenge, we must increase the share of renewable energy in our mix. And I believe one powerful way to do that is by reframing wind turbines in Taiwan. In this proposal, I choose to focus on wind energy rather than solar. That is because wind turbines can generate power at night and during cloudy or rainy weather. They generally have higher energy conversion efficiency, which means it can convert a larger share of kinetic wind energy into electricity, and it tends to have lower life cycle carbon dioxide emissions per kilowatt hour. Lastly, at the utility scale, they produce more energy from vast land area compared with solar farms. So, wind energy sounds great. Why don't we simply push it much further? In reality, there are several reasons for public opposition. The three most common concerns are land use, noise, and visual impact. The Taiwanese government has already taken an important step, developing offshore wind turbines. By placing turbines offshore, they no longer occupy valuable land, which is crucial for a small and densely populated island like Taiwan. Because they are located far from residential areas, the noise impact on nearby communities is also reduced. The government set ambitious development targets to reach 10 gigawatt by 2030. And in fact, by 2025, the installed offshore wind capacity reached 5,700 megawatts, showing strong progress towards its goals. This sounds quite successful, so the question becomes, what else can we as citizens do? Even though the government's strategy of building turbines offshore helps solve the land and noise issues, many people are still not very aware of these projects, and we still have the remaining concern of visual impact. I believe one key reason for this is that the public does not really know or experience wind turbines up close in a positive way. From my own experience, I once had the chance to visit an offshore wind farm on the western coast of Taiwan. I was genuinely amazed by the view. The turbines rise from a beautiful coastal landscape with stunning sunsets and gentle waves in the background. Standing there, it felt less like industrial infrastructure and more like a piece of living art. This leads to my proposal, promoting ecotourism around offshore wind turbines. I noticed that the locations chosen for offshore wind projects often have incredible natural beauty. However, they currently lack structured public engagement, which I think is a real missed opportunity. My core idea is to design free guided coastal visits and educational centers around these offshore wind sites. Through these activities, we can reframe wind turbines as symbols of both sustainability and aesthetics. With broader social acceptance and even pride in these landscapes, the governments will be able to advance construction plans more smoothly and more quickly, helping Taiwan move faster towards a low carbon energy system that can sustain our semiconductor industry and our society as a whole. Now I want to connect my proposal to the Sustainable Development Goals. This project is closely linked to three SDGs. SDG 7, Affordable and Clean Energy, SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, and SDG 13, Climate Action. By looking at offshore wind ecotourism through these three lenses, we can see that it is not only an energy project, but also a social and educational project, and ultimately a climate solution. First, affordable and clean energy. By reframing wind turbines through ecotourism, we help build wider public support for wind power. With more acceptance, it becomes politically and socially easier to deploy renewable energy infrastructure faster, such as new offshore wind farms. In the long run, this supports Taiwan's transition away from imported fossil fuels and moves us toward a more secure and cleaner domestic energy system. In other words, a positive public image of wind turbines is not just about aesthetics. It is directly connected to achieving a more reliable and affordable clean energy future. Second, sustainable cities and communities. Offshore wind areas can become more than just industrial zones. They can be transformed into community learning spaces and coastal ecotourism destinations. Through free guided tours, visitor centers, and educational programs, local residents, students, and visitors can learn about renewable energy, marine ecology, and climate issues while enjoying the coastline. This creates new opportunities for local businesses such as guides, cafes, and small accommodations, and strengthens the connection between communities and their surrounding environment. Lastly, climate action. Climate action is not only about technology, it is also about perception, trust, and social acceptance. If people associate wind turbines with noise, risk, and ugly views, it becomes much harder to implement low carbon infrastructure. By offering positive, immersive experiences of offshore wind landscapes, ecotourism can improve public perception of renewable energy. This, in turn, reduces opposition to low carbon projects and helps accelerate the measures we need to take to mitigate climate change. To conclude, my goal is not just to present an idea on paper. I truly want to work with partners in Taiwan and abroad to test and implement this concept of offshore wind ecotourism. With my background in the semiconductor industry and with this master's in global challenges for sustainability, I hope to build a bridge between high-tech industries, local communities, and sustainable energy solutions. I want to do more, and I want to make it happen, starting from Taiwan's wind and extending to a more sustainable future for all of us. Thank you. This is Hsin-Ning Chou and my product.